Travis?
Later. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio. The dehumidifier was kicking in behind me, so that's why I made all sorts of crappy noises, because I'm going to redo that intro as soon as I stand up, turn around, and turn that stupid-ass thing off. So I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Take the dog out. Take the dog out of the photo.
The dogs are going to go where they're going to go.
Oh, was that plumber's crack?
What?
I said, was that plumber's crack?
I don't know. I don't want to go there. I cleared my throat about the same time, and I thought, what?
At Chris Sharp, heck no, I'm not. I'm ready with pen and paper so I can take plenty of notes. I'm going to attempt this in the next week or so.
The lady is going to literally reload her Shotshell ammo.
Yeah, and I got a duck hunting coming up here too, so this could be interesting.
No new factory ammo for the duck hunt, eh?
I got a couple backup boxes just in case.
Shame on you.
It was, hey, I better grab it while I can.
Yeah, it's like Mike said, you keep on using factory ammo, keep changing your ammo, you're never going to get good because you got to change point of aim every time.
Yeah, well, hopefully this will fix that problem.
Yep. Hello, Miss Kitty. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Vanessa.
Oh, my God. Hookam's on the channel.
Uh-oh, there goes the neighborhood.
The grass is going to die. Hookum, you bum. Welcome. Welcome, friend.
No, Chris, I don't got this. I am pretty proud in admitting when I don't know what I'm doing.
All right. Okay. So, as I was saying, hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. I want to take time to thank Jake and Ryan over at Patriot Patch Company. Hey, anybody seen the new patch of the month?
Ooh.
Bam. Hi, Gracie. Hi, Gracie. Not right now, Gracie. I'm busy. Well, Russ in Alaska will enjoy that. He loves Gracie. We all love Gracie. So, this month, as Jim was showing and as I'm showing. Jim, put that back up there again.
Oh, God, not me. Wrapped
and strapped, baby. Holding a pair of mini Uzis. So.
Well, one's a MAC-10, one's a mini Uzi.
Oh, okay.
And there's the actual patch for your hat.
Yep.
Shrenda, I was giving you sass before the show. You should change your hat to a patch hat and put one of these on there.
I haven't found one that fits comfortably on my big ass head.
And there's Ryan Cross's original drawing.
Yep. So yeah, on the drawing you can clearly tell this one's a new mini Uzi and this one's a MAC-10.
Yep.
So. But all right, gang. So make sure you swing by patriotpatch.co and check everything out. Even if you can't do the patch of the month, they've still got great stuff going on. They've got t-shirts and other things, a myriad of things. It's just all awesome. Also want to take time to thank Sean and the gang over at Firearms Radio Network for giving us a place to hang out every week. Without them, we'd be lost in space or something. So. Alright, gang. Sharenda, what you been up to?
Went hunting this past weekend, pheasant hunting. Took my cousin for the first time too, their very first hunt. Made a couple of lady friends. We're making plans to go hunting later, and I've been reading my Shotshell book so I can get started on it. Tinkering around in the hen's den and plotting on how to take over the forest. That's about it.
Shrenda, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What's the first thing you do when shotshell reloading? First thing.
Now, I said I started reading the book. I didn't say I got that far.
Yeah, give the lady a gold star. Put it right there on that beautiful forehead. Read the book.
Why do we have to read?
Because they don't put the information tattooed on your forehead.
Yeah.
Well, even if it's tattooed on our forehead, we'd still have to read it.
Yeah. I think it might be a lot safer to read it versus just putting some stuff together.
Well, don't you fill the whole hull, compress it with a shot cup. Don't you fill the whole hull, compress everything with a shot cup, and put about 4 ounces of shot in there?
Yeah, but how much powder? What kind of primer?
Fill it up.
Do you clean it? The shells? I mean,
put a little oil in that, a little WD-40 on that.
A little WD-40.
There you go, Sydney. There's another picture of the dog. Just not trying to lick me to death right now. So, speaking of books, I forgot to grab mine.
Oh, I got mine right here. Like
awesome.
I said, I was reading. Like literally.
What does that say? What does that say? I can't read that.
That says
I'm colorblind.
Lyman Shotshell Reloading Handbook.
5th edition.
5th edition. And no, it's not the Age of Aquarius.
That struck me as funny. You have to be old like me.
All right, first question of the night, right out the gate, from Spudman76. This, like all questions related to cost in reloading, is a loaded question. Pun intended. All right, so Spudman, you need to ask yourself a question. How much do you shoot? And is that going to increase? If you are one of those people that gets together with your buddies once, maybe twice a year, and goes down to the local gun club and shoots 2 rounds of trap and then drinks beer for the rest of the day and that's it? That's all you're going to do for the year? No. Doesn't pay. So, doesn't pay at all. Just go buy your 100 pack from Walmart or Cabela's or Bass Pro or Sports Authority or your local True Value, whatever. So that's what you're gonna do there. Now,
I shoot that much on a Wednesday.
If you're in any sort of league, whether it's a mixed couples league or actually a full 5-person league, for trap, for skeet, for 5-stand, sporting clays, yes, it's absolutely worth reloading. Because here's the thing. Renee said in the chat, as an answer to Spudman, not worth it for cheap shells, but it's worth it to duplicate quality shells. Here's the thing. You're not duplicating cheap shells. You would have to screw up majorly to duplicate cheap shells. So you're not duplicating cheap shells. When you hand load shot shells, you're making that next level, that AA, or that Top Gun, or that STS. Yes, Jim.
He's showing his own nasty jelly beans.
Are they all black, Jim?
Hey, he's gonna have tar breath. I'm glad he's on YouTube Live and not writing this thing wrong.
You interrupted yourself, Mike.
Oh, I was just waiting for your answer.
Are they all black? No.
Yes.
No, I'll show
okay,
you why.
It's still a good bag of jelly beans.
Off topic to beat all hell.
Yep. Well, that was back to your previous conversation that you two were having when I was walking around setting stuff up. So, absolutely worth loading. And Paul says even less than what I said. Paul Nelson said, yes, it's worth loading shot shell if you hunt more than 5 times a year. you trap shoot more than 25 rounds a week, and try to find premium shot shells.
That would be me.
So, at least here in America. Now, Vemjum is going to talk about Australia, and unfortunately, Australia, they get hosed on pretty much everything. He says not worth it on Australia. Shot is very expensive, $100 a case for factory. Primers alone are $80.
Jeez.
So, yeah. So yeah, down there, no. Even with the way shot is going right now, you can still. I mean, you're still getting shot for $42 to $50 a 25 pounder. So, you know, it's still very affordable because you're not, like I said, you're not loading that 100 pack. You're not loading that $5 a box shot shell at Walmart. So, but as Renee said, big plus for loading slugs and buckshot. Yeah, absolutely. One of the areas it's starting to pay off, especially, is tungsten. Because you can actually buy and load tungsten cheaper than you can usually buy a shell. Because right now, when you want to use tungsten, especially for turkey hunting, which is huge for, because tungsten gives you that lead lethality and speed without the toxic of the lead. I mean, some of those are $30-$40 a 5-pack. So if you can save money on that, that's a big, huge thing. So absolutely, yes, you can save money. Just like everything else, you got to be smart. So tonight we're going to kind of go over the basics. We're not going to actually do any loading tonight. So Travis is going to show off one of his machines. I've got some various shot shells and stuff and wads and other stuff laying here. I thought I had a Lee loader in 12 gauge, but I don't. So I was going to show that off too. So, yeah, Ed said even in Australia, loading slugs is cheap. So, excuse me. You can custom tailor your turkey loads too. Say you still load with lead, because you can still do it. Or you get copper wash lead. One of the newer loads to come out in the last few years is from Federal, where they've got 4, 5, and 6 mixed together. Well, shoot, you can do that yourself. And it's a lot cheaper than what they want for it. Because that was one of those $20 for 5 or shells. So, I mean, you can do that a lot cheaper. So, how's it going, Travis?
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up, Travis?
Hey, Jim, did we ever finish with you for what you did in loading and stuff?
I didn't do a thing.
Okay. I worked.
So we finished.
Okay. Travis, how about you?
If you guys follow us on Instagram and stuff, you can see that I posted a video. I think I called it Lazy Sunday. And that was just something I was doing. I actually did it Saturday and Sunday, processing 2 5-gallon buckets of 9mm brass for my friend. I'm still got a little bit left, but I'm over 20,000 cases. And I kind of posted a quick video of kind of start to finish. First dry tumbling those to get the majority of the gunk off before I put them through my dyes. And then I show running it through the 1050 where I'm using a very nice new FW Arms spring activated decapper. I think that should be out on the market soon. That one's really nice for guys running automated presses like I am. And then just sizing them and running them through the wet tumbler and getting them looking like brand new. But yeah, that's a over 20,000 cases of 9mm. That's a lot. My machine runs at 2,400 an hour. So that's, if you can do the math, figure out how many hours that took, and that doesn't include the tumbling and the washing.
Mike, I take that back. I did do something in reloading. I harassed Travis about his bare toes.
Yes, you did. But then I explained to you that that is perfectly acceptable OSHA safety standard for where Travis is at.
Yeah, in his house.
Anything west of the Rockies, flip-flops are completely acceptable safety shoes.
Travis, you live in the Rockies, west of the Rockies, or east of the Rockies?
He's west.
West.
Okay.
And yes, I actually did have to look at a map before I did that. Yeah, I did look at a map before I shot that response back to you in the chat, Jim. So, Winchester Diamond Elite. So, I'll be honest, I didn't look at any shot shells at Shotshell. I was kind of not really worried about what was coming out. So, I will have to look at those quick. But
Hey, Mike.
yo.
What is it right there? What are you trying to say, Jim?
That you have ugly toes. Walking around his house in his flip-flops, reloading his brass. I told him he had toes that would scare little children. This is in our private chat on Facebook, on Messenger.
You guys are horrible.
Somebody should
Oh.
be. Might as well be us. We're good at it. Although, Travis, next time you got to hold that closer to your microphone so they can actually hear it.
I know. I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't quite hear you. What did you say?
I agree. Powder coating is the best way to go for new shooters. I agree. Powder coating is the best way to go for new shooters. I agree. Powder coating is the best way to go for new shooters.
Jim,
What?
we heard you the first time.
What?
We heard you.
You must not be very intelligent if you have to repeat that thing 5 times.
I wanted to make sure that you got your point across.
Oh, I got my point across, and I still stand behind it. Why you got to take and belabor it to the end of the grave?
Well, because that's my new ringtone. So now when I'm at work, I get to hear your voice.
To be used only when I call you, right?
No, it's for everybody.
I don't
I
care.
know it.
I really don't care. I wouldn't have said it if I wouldn't stand behind it.
So what are we talking about today, guys?
Shells and shot shell loading. So while you guys were talking about, so the new Grade Elite shot shells from Winchester are a super high antimony lead that is precision sorted and copper plated. So the pattern density and performance with this product is unmatched, yielding solid breaks on the most demanding targets. So they took your standard shot shell. They took the standard soft lead out of it. They probably used something more along the lines of Lyman number 2, maybe a little harder, depending on how much antimony they put in it. And then they covered it with copper. And you're expecting it to pattern very well. I'm guessing they probably spent a lot of time doing some R&D on that. So, what did I fade out for a second?
Yep.
Did you miss anything?
Not much.
Okay.
Well, yes.
Hi, Remy.
Yeah, actually, about half of what you said went out.
Okay, so basically what the Diamond Elite... Really, Remy? He just wanted to walk past. That's... Whatever. Darn dogs. Okay, so basically what the Diamond Elite, Diamond Grade is a super high antimony lead shot that's precision sorted and copper plated. So basically, they changed the lead hardness. They're actually sorting it, so they're taking out all the teardrop shapes, and then they're copper coating it to use it as a buffer. And that's what they're doing. I don't know if there's a special wad they're using in this or not. No, it just says Legendary AA wad, so it's the same wad. It says hardest shot available, ensures tighter patterns and reliable on-target performance. So the first thing that pops into my mind when it says hardest shot available, I know a lot of people that shoot trap with full chokes. That means they're probably not going to be able to do that anymore. Because the problem with hard shot, especially steel, and this isn't probably that hard, but steel doesn't really give. And it looks like that's the idea behind this, is to make it so it doesn't give and move and shift. So that way, theoretically, it's patterning consistently shotgun to shotgun. The problem with that is if you run too tight of a choke, then that steel won't move when it gets to the choke. So now you have a barrel obstruction. I'm not saying this will do that. I'm just saying if they've got it as hard as steel, it's entirely possible. So.
Well, even lineman number 2 does have a bit of give to it, Mike.
Right. I think Paul Nelson succinctly said what I was trying to say. So 7.5 shot copper plated with a wad that cushions the setback and protects the shot through the barrel. So. All right. So that's kind of that. I don't really know if it would make... I don't know. It looks like they're moving them about the same speed as their normal trap loads. But it looks like they're marketing these more towards sporting clays. So... which some people do have problems with sporting clays because they're different style targets, different size targets, stuff like that. So, and Paul Nelson was saying full choke in a trap gun is used for 18 to 25 yards, not 16. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. However, I do know people that shoot 16-yard full choke. But yeah, if they had opened a modified, they'd probably not miss as many birds.
I was going to say full choke at 16. They better be either damn good or they're missing quite a bit. Even I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're definitely missing some. All right. So Travis, what do you load for a Shotshell?
I load 12 gauge, and the main purpose for me is just to knock over steel targets and some clay pigeons.
So for steel targets, is that because your 9 won't do it? You walked into that one.
Nice, Mike. He led himself right into it.
Yes, he did.
Hook, line, and sinker. SMP, those people that won't shoot 40.
So for those of you who may be joining us for the first time tonight, Travis abhors 40 Smith & Wesson, which Jim, Jason, and I all love to shoot. And so Travis was talking about how he was having problems having to put multiple rounds onto his target to get them to knock over. And so we've been doing what we should be doing, which is giving him crap about that.
Yeah, even 9mm majors with 147 grain with super hot loads, you still aren't shooting the load that I shoot standard all the time. 150 grain semi-wad cutter.
Yeah, I'll take capacity. And before you guys make fun of me, you got to get out and shoot one of those giant spinners with your 40, and then we'll compare who can get that to spin over quicker.
Are we talking Texas Star?
Yes, that's exactly.
Not a Texas Star. It's one of the giant spinners.
Oh, foreign S.
Correct. If you guys watch any of my 3-gun videos, you'll see what we're talking about. They're giant spinners, probably 5 foot. 4 depends on which ones they're using. 4 foot to 5.
Wow.
That was not me.
That was Sharenda.
What I do?
Sound like you sneezed on the air.
Oh, I did. My bad. I thought I was on mute.
Yeah, so the giant spinners are 4 foot to 5 foot overall from top to bottom of the spinner itself, and you got to shoot top, bottom, get that thing to spin over.
So Paul Thoreau said he's in your camp there, Travis.
Yeah, I took Paul Nelson's advice, and I loaded up some 147 grainers, and I went out this weekend. That's something else I did. I went out and I tested those out. I would rather have my 9 shooting just buttery smooth with hardly any recoil than have that extra bit of knockdown power. I didn't see a huge improvement over getting the spinner to spin over with going to the 9 major.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just getting the motion of the ocean, as they say, getting that thing to spin and flip over. If I ever send Jason his package, that's what he actually ordered from me, is one of these giant spinners. So I guess we're going to have to wait for me to send Jason his package. Then we can get his feedback with his. We'll get him to put himself on camera shooting his spinner with one of these super powerful 40s that you guys love so much. Maybe we'll get Jim out there with his 45 1911 and just get him to just blow that target right over.
I haven't shot that gun in years. But I still have it.
Yeah, I see a couple guys in the comments, like Chad Ullman. I guess he's got a question we'll hit here in a second.
Yeah, he said it's off topic. He'll hold on to it a bit. So,
there's my buddy Arthur. He says, do 3 guns differ in shot shells? No, we don't run any turkey loads. You're kind of limited. You want to use, most of us shoot 7.5 shot. That's the shot, the size of the shot.
That's the maximum you can do too, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. I got there's one right there. You guys can see how tiny that is. That's 7.5 right there. And we'll get into this. I've actually, if I need to, Mike, I can pull out. I got all kinds of different sizes under the bench here.
Okay.
All the way to 5s, number 5. But
nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Travis.
Yeah.
You got your calipers handy? I was going to ask you to check the diameter on that. Beach.
I can. I'm going to have to walk all the way down there.
Oh, never mind. It's all right. It's got to be less than 100 thousandths. That's all right.
I'll get it here in a minute.
No worries.
See, Paul Nelson. A lot of guys, they do run a 38 Super, and that's actually perfect for 3-gun, except for when you got to pick up your brass.
Why?
Because it's all mixed in with the 9, and you got to have a calibrated eye to pick out your 38s, and then also hope that your friends, when they're picking up their brass, that they're nice enough to give you your 38 Super Brass back, because 38 Super Brass is kind of expensive.
You don't have a brass buddy?
Well, we all have brass buddies, but depends on how nice they are and who won, and they're going to give you your stuff back.
You make it sound like you shoot with brass goblins.
I wish I had my shirt on. I wish Hunt Shoot Off Road was in the chat. Hey, Mike, can you highlight Idaho Rogers' comment right there? I think it's pretty important to what we're talking about.
I have to agree with that.
And Spudman 76, no, you cannot use 3-inch in 3-gun, 2 3/4.
Oh, really? I learned something new today.
It's kind of cheating if you use turkey loads. There's some guys who kind of try to cheat, but when they can get a spinner to spin over with one shot from their shotgun, and you can really hear the report, it's a turkey load. They're kind of called out pretty easily.
Oh, but how can you tell? I shot the ammo already.
It has a distinctive sound. It has a distinctive feel, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It actually has a distinctive look if you're watching somebody shooting 3-inch, too.
Probably quite a bit heavier recoil.
Now, Paul Nelson just said something real interesting there. His last comment, he shoots 38 Super, and he just commented, he says, I use 223 brass, and he cuts it down, and he converts 223 brass to 38 Super.
Nice.
Never even thought of that, but that would be a way to really get, and then you can just, if you don't, most of the time you got to get 38 Super brass, you're getting it from Starline. Starline's really, really good brass, but it's also very expensive. So it kind of hurts when you got to, you leave some out there on the range.
Well, the thing is, Travis, now you got a big source for it.
Well, I don't have a 38 Super. My buddy does, and I'm actually going to have him come over, and we might make some.
Oh, cool.
That'd be a good topic for your Sunday shows, Travis.
Yeah, that would be a fun one.
So, Young of the Mill said I recommend Lyman Shotshell 5th Edition Handbook, RSI Steel Reloading Handbook, Lightning Steel 2nd Edition from Precision, and Alliance Steel Powder Load Data from their website. So, yeah, Sharenda showed off her 5th edition already, because I didn't grab mine. And he said for waterfowl loads. So that's another place you can save a lot of money.
Heck yeah. And I am addicted to ducks now.
I'm sure you are. All right, Jim, 7.5 is 0.095.
Well, like I said, it's under 100 thousandths.
Yep.
Not much, but I was just judging by the side of the bead in Travis's fingers.
Yep.
Chad Allman, we are watching on YouTube Live.
Yeah, we're also, they don't have access to the StreamYard that we're using.
Yeah, he's asking what others that are watching what they're using. So he's watching Mike's broadcast over Facebook Live right now.
Yep.
The rest of the guys are watching on YouTube.
Matter of fact, Chad Allman is using Facebook also.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So, side note, Chad's question, with all that's going on, how cost effective is it to reload 5.56? I used to could buy them cheaper than reload, also new to reloading, bought my gear, but still reading knowledge on reloading before I start reloading. That's a good idea. Honestly, if you can find primers, game on. Because most of the time you can't find 5.56, and if you do, in stores, it's usually a little pricey.
I think last time I checked, a case of 1,000, just run-of-the-mill stuff was about, I've seen it up to $600.
Yep, depending on where you look.
we used to be able to buy it for $300, and that's when guys were saying cost of reloading, buying it by the case, it kind of equaled out, right? But like Mike, Jim, all of us say all the time, when we're reloading, we're making higher quality stuff than a lot of the cheaper stuff that we just get to go and purchase at that cheaper price.
Yep.
The bad thing at this time is powders going up, primers are unavailable, and if you can find them, buy them, but don't let them kind of screw you over, because $32 for 1,000 depends on where you're getting them. If you go to Gunbroker, you're paying 4 or 5 times that amount. I've seen them $150 for 1,000 primers on Gunbroker. Some of the local shops in my area, and I'm sure you guys are seeing this too, I usually try to hit Sportsman's. I know a lot of you guys don't have a Sportsman's in your area, but Sportsman's, they haven't raised the prices. I can go get them for $32 for 1,000. But smaller local gun shops are also doing that. They're going and purchasing those primers for $32, and then they're raising it to $50 to $60. So right there, you've doubled your cost of primers depending on where you get them. And then I went to look and purchase 6,000 projectiles yesterday. I'm getting them from a buddy, so I'm getting them at the normal price. But 1,000 projectiles used to cost like $80, depends on where you get them. I was buying them for $84 plus shipping. Let's just say $100 for 55 grain stuff. Now they're $160. So you're still gonna, if even buying all that stuff at those prices, you're still gonna be under that $600 to $750 a case right now. But you're probably going to be over that $300 that you used to be able to go and buy it for. So it's tough times.
Yeah, that's pretty much the bottom line of it.
Well, one of the things that Travis touched on, I'd like to expand a little bit, is quality. The quality we're talking about, we're not trying to say we load better ammo than factory ammo. Okay, we're not trying to say that. It's better because it's tuned to your gun. Simple as
Right,
that.
like I'm loading 75 grain, Hornady projectiles. If I had to go, I got a buddy who's not into reloading. He wants to buy all of his stuff. He thinks it's the best to buy it all off the shelf. He was buying his stuff for like some Hornady stuff. I think he was paying $16 to $18 a box for 20, and we're shooting 200 or so rounds at each match. So, I mean, I'm loading 75 grain stuff, and that's a premium. If I had to go buy that same stuff at the store, I'd be right in that same boat between $16 to $20. But I get to load it for way cheaper than that.
Yep.
$1 a round for 5.56 ammo, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. But that's what some of that premium stuff is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, because they're not anticipating a guy going out shooting a 3-gun match. They're thinking, some of that premium stuff is, has a use, and it's not just shooting it at the wind.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Shotshells. So just so everybody knows, it's American standard shot size that they use. So I've got a chart I'll put in the show notes that has your pellet diameters all the way from 12 all the way up to triple aught, and then your steel sizes from 6 to F. So they even make steel shot for air rifles in the 177 caliber. So, but all right. So let's see, where were we? Okay, so excuse me. As we were talking, you need to go get a manual. So the important thing about shot shells, Travis, What's the big difference between reloading for shot shells and metallic cartridges?
It's a whole different game. That's what's different.
Right.
And it's completely different.
But why? What's so different about it?
I don't know. What are you getting at? You tell me.
Can't I just go grab some powder and grab some wads and grab some shot and throw it all together?
You can once. It's just like anything else. You gotta get your manual out and look up some recipes, and you do have to match your cases. That's the one big thing. You gotta
your hull.
Let's just your hull. Let's go over that real quick, Mike. We got different kinds of cases. I mean, I was just grabbing a couple of supplies. You want to talk about the different kind of cases, like the you got high brass, low brass. You got.
So one of the big differences is inside. Down at the bottom here, how that's made. That's one of your big differences. See how that is a two-piece. Well, that's a two-piece bottom versus the first one that I showed you is a one-piece. And this is another two-piece. So one of the big things with shot shells, that's a pillow, by the way, gang. The camera's on its side. One of the big things with shot shells is your hulls may look the same on the outside, but be completely different on the inside. So, let's grab these two here. So, this one is a AA Winchester, and this one's just your basic cheap 100-pack Remington Field and Trap, or whatever they call them. So, big difference between your hulls as far as plastic versus cardboard base. There's a second difference, and that is whether it's a straight wall or a tapered wall. Because if it's a tapered wall and you try and shove a straight wall wad down it, it won't fit. And vice versa, if you take a tapered wall wad and shove it down a straight wall, you're going to have space. So, now all the wads I have are for specific hull, so they're all for Winchester AA's. But they use different size shot cups. So as you can see, the pink one won't hold as much as the white one will. The pink one is a 1 ounce, the white one is a 1 1/8 ounce. So that's another difference.
You also have 7/8 ounce.
Yep. Then you have short wads like the one I just showed. And then, so here's another difference. A couple of differences. Just these two here. Actually, let's do this. Love the pillow. Okay, so these two here are both 12 gauge 2 3/4. But this is a Slug with a roll crimp. This is shot with a standard star crimp. So, as you can see there, it's not working as well as I wanted it to. There you go. So this is kind of a better, it's not a good crimp, but that's why I keep this one, just to show you what a bad crimp looks like and why you don't want to keep it. So, and then this is a 20 gauge slug with a roll crimp. All right. So one of the other differences between these two, this one's a plastic hull. This one's paper. Yeah, that's right, paper. Another difference, this is a normal brass, and this is what they call high brass. So you see the difference there. The reason they run the brass up higher is so that when they run a higher pressure load like you need for a slug, it doesn't blow the bottom of the hull out. So
there's an older brass cartridge. It's all brass. Those are still being used to a certain extent, aren't they? By some of the old diehards, the old dinosaurs?
Actually, it's pretty common, to tell the truth. And it's becoming more and more popular again, especially for...
Tell us.
Damn it, I'm screwed when I get old. Those guys wandering around the street looking for change with my hands in my pocket going, "Day."
That'd be me. What sort of competition they use
SAS.
for? What?
SAS, Single Action Shooting Society. Cowboy action shooters.
Yeah, that's era suited because they used to use a lot of brass shot shell.
Yep, that's what it was. So, one of the biggest things to remember, hull versus hull is the appropriate and correct term for these things. So when you
so the whole mic showing along with this one is called a compression. We should have chopped one of these open so you could really see down inside, but basically this plastic is all one piece and the cup goes all the way down. So
I'll switch cameras again and
yeah, so this plastic, there's actually, if you look at, you can see the plastic, and then you've got the head right here, the brass piece, and you would look at that and think that the plastic ends right there, but these compression ones, the plastic actually goes all the way down and is one piece. Perfect, right there. That's awesome, Mike.
let me bring that up to, there we go. Okay, so yeah, as Travis was showing, it's all one molded piece.
Right there, you guys are looking at the back end of the primer.
Yep.
What is that wrapped around the rim of the primer? The inside of the primer. That's the primer cup?
Yep.
That's the primer cup, yeah, and you're just looking at the flush hole for the primer right there.
Okay, thank you.
Now,
this is kind of a little better picture of how it's really one piece.
yeah,
Because this stands out better.
Different color.
Yep.
so you see, you got the primer right there, and then the powder goes on top, and then your wad, and then your shot, and yeah, basically it's all just one nice piece. That's what a lot of us who reload kind of prefer, is these compression formed holes.
And then this is the other style.
Isn't that paper?
What's that?
Is that paper?
It's a fiber. So kind of. But so high brass isn't really needed as much as it used to be. It was especially needed with paper. But with the plastic hulls, especially the one piece like that, they hold up really well. So, and then the other issue with the high brass is, unlike most where you can just kind of quick size them, you actually have to full resize those things. Otherwise, they won't feed back through your gun right. So, but all right. I'm just checking the notes here. Travis, your son says hi, or daughter. One of your kids. Sorry. I was looking quick. I didn't see the first name. So. So Jay Allen said he had some 12 gauge that had a white plastic insert inside that didn't allow the wad go all the way in. A white plastic insert? I guess I'd have to know what type of hull that was. I mean, it's entirely possible we've got 9mm brass like that too, where it's got the brass shelf in it, so you can't seat it too deep. But yeah, Paul Nelson did give me a high brass resizer. It's out in the garage. I didn't grab it for a night, so I'll grab that for next week. Because your standard press won't really resize the high brass. So, but that's kind of that. One of the new things is 3D printing shotshell hulls, but I don't have any because I haven't got a chance to print them because I lost the file. I gotta find it again. But they actually work pretty good. So, from what I've seen. But I mean, you've got all these different shells, shot shells, all these different hulls. They're all different designs. They're all different payloads. Paul Nelson said that shelf in there is for reduced payload. So, and then you've got your wads. So, the first thing you have to figure out is what hull you're going to load. That's the very first step. Because everything is based off that hull. It makes a difference on whether it's a one-piece or it's a two-piece, on what you can load in it. It makes a difference on a huge difference on whether it's a tapered wall or a straight wall. So, because that right there determines what wad you're going to get. Like I said, you cannot interchange the wads. If it's a wad for a straight wall, you got to put it in a straight wall. If it's a wad for a tapered wall, you got to use a tapered wall. So Paul posted earlier, and I was going to mention it, and then he just reposted it. So when you're looking to get a starting setup, he said a starting setup of components would be 3 different wads, a couple hundred premium hulls, 2 different primers, and 4 different shot sizes. So probably 8, 7.5, and if you're pheasant hunting, 5s and 6s. Depending on what you're hunting. But, yeah, a couple different wads. Your wad's probably ounce and an eighth, if it's 12 gauge. And then, not sure what the third one would be. I guess it would depend on what you're using for hulls. And then premium hulls. One of Mark's comments earlier in the chat was when he pulled trap, he used to get, what was it, 3 cents a hull? Yeah, 3 cents a piece for the double A's. So one of the reasons they pay more for double A's is because they are such a good, a well-constructed hull. They are going to load a lot. They are going to retain their shape very well, retain their flexibility very well. Plastic, just like brass, work hardens. Also age hardens, which is something brass doesn't do. So let me zoom in on you there, Travis. So one of the things that happens with hulls, especially when they've got the star crimps, and there's 2 different star crimps, by the way. There's a 6 and an 8. I didn't have any 6s handy, so I couldn't bring any out. I don't know if Travis does. So that's an 8. 6 is just 6. A lot of people will use that for... Oh, there you go. The 6s are usually a little more common for your heavier loads because they're going to have pressure to blow it out versus the 8s open easier. At least that's what somebody told me once. Whether it's bullcrap or not, I don't know. So, but it was somebody that has reloaded shot shells for longer than I've been alive. So, the other thing with these hulls is they're designed to handle a higher pressure because when you're loading for trap, you want a fast load. Speed definitely increases your accuracy when it comes to trap shells. You can take somebody who's shooting 1,100 feet per second, 1 1/8 ounce loads, and now you can turn around and hand them a 1 1/8 ounce that's moving 1,300 feet per second, and all of a sudden you're going to notice, a few pickups in their birds. It may not be, it may not be double, but you're definitely going to pick up at least 3 to 4 usually. So in Paul Nelson's day, he said it was double A's, Federal Premium Trap hulls, and Remington Premier hulls. Now it's Remington, I don't remember, Nitros 27s. Those
Game
are relatively
Club.
new. They used to be STS. The Game and Field's the basic one.
Oh, these ones, the Remington gun clubs. Those are another popular one.
Yeah, those are another.
But just real quick, you're talking about work hardening.
Yep.
For those watching, right here, this usually stays pretty soft and malleable, but right here where you're folding it is where it gets work hardened. And you can see this one, it's kind of got some. You can start to see where the crimps are, and that's usually what happens on these. Is that's where they start cracking, and then that's when they're no good.
Yep. As soon as you get a crack in any of those, forget it.
Hey, Travis, or any of you guys, y'all get any of those crack ones? Don't trash them. Send them my way.
You bet. Yep, the STS were green. I think I still have some out in the garage somewhere. A few. I don't know where they are though. So, one of the great misnomers is like this here. This is that Remington Game and Field. These are those $5 a box or the 100 packs. They say you can't load them, which is not necessarily true. There are a lot of people out there that have taken some time and effort to come up with some loads for those. Typically, you're only going to get 1 to 2 loads out of them, so it's not worth picking up. So, Paul was saying that at the time he was doing it, the Federal Premium Trap hulls were a straight hull where the other ones were tapered. I think even the Federals have gone to the tapered now. So, but I don't know for sure. So, Raymond Rowden said hulls can be cut down and apply a roll crimp. Yes. Actually, if you really want to and you're a glutton for punishment, you can actually practice and do a rolled crimp on a full hull too. I don't recommend it though. But so now they're
I had a roll crimp tool sitting somewhere. Now I can't find it, but
yeah, mine's out in the garage somewhere too. I don't know where it went. My garage is a disaster.
yeah, the roll crimp is usually for when you load slugs, and then it's a lot of guys put it in their drill press, and then it actually melts exactly just like that. Can you hold that a little closer? You can see it's actually melted.
Oh, this
and
one's
it rolls.
paper.
Oh, that one's paper.
Yeah.
Well, if you did that with one of these, it actually causes friction, and this kind of melts and it rolls in. Hence, roll crimp. There you go.
So,
I may have asked you guys this before, but have any of y'all ever casted y'all slugs for 12 or 20?
I have not yet. I actually have some that.
I guess that was a dumb question for Travis.
No, it wasn't a dumb question. I happen to know before you came on this show that Travis was casting those molds.
Hey, Travis, why don't you
Those
send
slugs.
me a list of things that I'll need to add to my future investment list? Because I'm going to be doing quite a bit of deer slug shooting here in the next couple of years.
So here's the thing, Sharenda. Casting your own slugs for hunting deer, unless you have a fully rifled barrel, is kind of pointless.
I have access to one. I'll show you a picture. I'll show it to you later.
Okay. The reason I say that is there is no company that makes a Foster-style slug mold.
Okay.
So... And
I have a new-
Hookem said it. Alan is the one that sent me the slugs that I actually load up Sunday.
I have a question about slug. What is a Brannicky slug?
Brannicky slug is honestly, it's basically a Foster slug. So, it's just...
So it has rifling
Right.
stripes, as it were, caster formed into the walls of the slug.
Now, the difference is, the Brannicky slug actually has a built-in base. So, seeing if I can get a good picture of it here, and I can't, so. It actually has kind of a wad attached to it, so it helps stabilize it a little better. So, I mean, there's all sorts of different stuff out there. But nobody currently makes a Foster style or a Brannicky style slug mold that actually has the rifling.
Yeah, I think we talked about this the other day, Mike. The odd thing is, for us casters, there's a wide variety of molds that we can get for whatever caliber we choose, but there's really not a whole lot of slug molds out there.
Nope.
I think we looked, we couldn't find any with rifling, right?
No, we did not. I didn't spend hours on eBay looking to see if you could find old stuff, but Lee used to make one. Lyman used to make one. I don't remember the other couple companies, but they all are now smooth side.
Yeah, there is some pretty nice ones that you can get over on the Reloaders Network. Go to Reloaders Network, go to the shop page, and there is several selections coming from Russia.
Yeah, the Savongs.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have certain. I think the problem with those was you had to have the exact wad to go with those.
Yep.
But I think Bacon has a full stock of everything needed over there. But from what I've been hearing, those Russian slug molds are the best projectiles that we as casters can make right now. But they are kind of expensive.
Mike, I'm trying to share my screen. What I found a Brennicky slug in image from Wikipedia. I don't know if it's going over or not.
Nope.
Try again. There.
I
Try.
gotta add it to stream.
Okay.
There we go. So.
That's a Brennicky slug, am I right? With a like a shot.
Yes.
With quart clear and a wad underneath of that.
Yes, that is.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's got cork, felt, and then another cork spacer.
Yep.
What is it? I've never seen this before. Is there something that holds? You can kind of look at the very bottom. It looks like there's some peg or something holding that all together.
Yeah, I can see something sticking out there.
Does that anyone who knows this mold, is that something that you have to shove into the lead itself, or does the lead have a tail and you shove the felt and the wad spacers onto it? That's pretty interesting.
Okay, you can take it off stream. I'm going to close the screen now, Mike.
So, Corbin actually makes tooling to swage finned slugs. So, if you're into swaging and you've already got that set up, then Corbin makes that. So, I was looking to see. I thought I had a decent picture.
Hey, Jim, while Mike's looking for that, what was the name of that slug you just looked up?
Brenneke, Brennicky.
Now, Mike, what's that online store that we go to that has all kinds of Shotshell supplies? Because I know PPI,
Ballistic Products Incorporated.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, off of there we can buy slugs, rifled slugs to reload. I think I looked at them one time, but it was more expensive to buy them and load your own than it was to go and purchase already loaded slugs.
Yep. I don't remember. So I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, we need to get NOE or someone to make us a rifled slug mold.
Well, you should get on that.
I'll put in a word.
Okay.
Probably won't go nowhere, but I'll put in a word.
That's not what I want. There. So, they've got all sorts of different stuff. They've got quite a few slugs where the attachment is actually got a rifling on the wad. So, but then they've got some of your Russian style. They're not the actual Russian. They're kind of in that vein, though. They've got the Fosters. They've got the shuttlecock style. Good old-fashioned round balls. They get into some of the sabots, and then they've got the thugs, which are kind of a Brennicky style. And those are Your 1 1/88 ounce Thug Slug is 25 pack for $17.99. So in that case, the Thug Slug actually has the wad attached to it already. So,
just out of curiosity, what kind of velocity are you lobbing those 1 ounce slugs at? 7/8 ounce, whatever.
Good question. I'm not sure.
Travis, do you know off the top of your head?
No, off the top of my head, I can grab my reloading book and look.
Well, anyone, even in the YouTube chat, what kind of velocity are they launching at what weight of the slug? 1,100 feet per second on a 1 ounce slug. That would stop a car.
Okay, yeah.
Trenda, your book's so handy?
Yep.
Please.
What are we looking for again?
The velocity on the standard weight slug. Whatever the standard weight is, probably 1 ounce. I mean, my God, you're talking about lobbing artillery around from the shoulder. Of course, too, 30-06, she runs 180 grain at what, 27, 28, 2,900 feet per second?
Something like that.
That'll go through an engine block.
This way help if I put my glasses on.
You're getting old, lady.
So,
Yeah.
Go away.
Hey, so the 12 gauge Lyman Foster type slug.
Yeah.
Get ready for this one, Jim.
Yeah.
Let me just pick a good one here.
Just run the military.
1,525 feet per second.
1,500 feet per second. That'll stop a semi in the right place.
Yes and no, but it's usually a softer lead, so. Give you an idea, this is old numbers. This is out of a 1988 Hornady loading manual. 12 gauge slug, 2 3/4 inch case. You're looking at 1380.
Well, Ray Rodden put it up in there. Remington 12 gauge slug is about 1,600 feet per second. And Eat Bacon put it up. Federal Power Shock 2 3/4 1 ounce, 1610.
Yep.
So we're talking some serious energy behind a 1 ounce slug. Whew. Appreciate y'all looking all that information up for me.
Yeah.
I got these to play with this weekend.
What exactly is a Sabot slug, Sharenda?
So the shotgun that I was forced to borrow, that's rifled. Gentleman swears by these, and he said he's been using them for probably over 15 years. He may have said 20 or 25, but definitely over 15. There's only 2 in the box, and because of ammo shortage, I can't get any more reasonably. But he says these have been accurate for him using his rifle to play with it to see what to. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to use it when I'm whitetail hunting, but when somebody tells you, here, take my gun, you just do it. It's a pretty gun too.
Hey, Mike, highlight Jorgen Reagan's final comment there, last comment. Yeah, we don't need to repeat it. Everyone that tunes into YouTube will know exactly what we're talking about. Dram equivalent, that would be the weighted measure of black powder. Paul Nelson's comment, guys, don't forget that the loads are based on dram equivalent. What is a dram? To me, a wee dram would be like a shot of liquor, an ounce of liquor.
I was thinking some other contraband.
What would that be, Shrenda? Go ahead.
He said dram. He said dram, not gram.
You're muted, Mike.
Yeah, I wish I could answer this more intelligently, but I don't. So I'm hoping Mike actually schools us on dram is a measurement. If you look, usually on every, I don't have a box, but every box it tells you the size and then the dram, and dram is a measurement.
So the dram equivalent is a holdover from the days when shot shells were loaded with black powder. Black powder is, or at least was, measured in drams. This is a weight measure where 16 drams equals 1 ounce. At that measurement, 256 drams of black powder weigh 1 pound. So, and this... I don't think you'll be able to read the lettering on it. And I don't know where my flashlight went. But, yeah, maybe.
That's a powder measure. Paul Nelson's comment about the dram equivalence in the way, Mike. Thank you. Okay, it says powder dram, and he's got several graduations in there. Two and a half. I think it says the top one where the measure is actually at. Then it goes upwards in scope from there.
So it's one side. So what this is for is this is actually to load shot shells.
Mm-hmm.
So the one side of this is powder with your dram measurements, and the other is your shot shell and your weight requirements. So
Is that kind of an antique?
Yep. So what you do is you scoop your powder charge, dump it in, flip it over to your shot shell charge, scoop that up. After you put a wad in between them, then you dump that in.
You mean to tell me you don't mix the powder and the shot together?
Not a good idea.
I don't know why. I'm quite serious.
No, I'm serious. I was just saying it's not a good idea. The reason is the whole entire idea behind a wad is in a area that is carried consistently throughout the barrel, and then your wad actually is pushed by the powder charge, kind of like in a metallic cartridge. The powder ignites and pushes the bullet out the end. It does the same thing with this. In the old days, they just had some of those fiber wads, like what was on the bottom of that Brennecke Slug, or paper wads like that,
like Travis is holding.
But the reason you don't mix it all together is, first off, it tends to melt the lead a little bit.
That wouldn't be good.
Nope. So then you got deformed lead. Second, and more importantly, it's not really pushing that shot. So that shot isn't staying together. It's not staying compact, and it's not staying in any sort of consistent pattern. So once it gets out the barrel, it's going to be like a busload of kids that just got off at the water park. All over the place.
Okay.
It's kind of like when we shoot, if we take a projectile, let's just say an actual cartridge, shoot it out of our rifle. versus taking that same case and just kind of holding it in midair and just hitting the primer. It's not going to have the same effect as if it was in the chamber of your rifle.
Okay.
And you can see on these wads, got the cup right here, the shell wad, like Mike was showing. So the powder is actually right underneath of all this. So this has got these little, I don't know what the technical term is, Mike. It's got these little shock absorbers.
Yeah.
Yours has some different style than the ones I've got. And then here's some of the factory nitro I cut to show the inside. You can see that's got a different little shock absorber for it too.
Maximize that screen. Thank you. Oh, so okay, they are shock absorbers of a sort.
They literally are. You can see the bare one in my left. It's got like a little crease right there, and it will. If you go find one down range, you'll see this actually compresses.
Right.
And it's kind of like a sprinter getting set and getting in his stance and then taking off. You fire it, and then these actually compress under the force, and then it takes off through the barrel. But yeah,
Travis, what you held up a few minutes ago, a little fiber disc, isn't that really what's called a wad?
No. Well,
okay, the wad
these
is
are
a fiber.
spacers. These are felt spacers.
But the felt you're talking about now, isn't that the wad itself? The old stuff.
This is the wad.
Isn't that more correctly called a shot cup, Travis?
No.
You seen in that slug? I don't have any
under the Renicky slug. Yeah, okay, the material under the slug.
So that whole setup was replacing this.
Oh, okay.
So these felt pads and that other material in between, like I'm kind of showing,
right?
That whole setup replaces this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using
much simpler. I can see that.
Yeah, I've made my own. I had a punch and I made my own little spacers, and I use those. I put one spacer, and this is where you got to look up recipes and stuff. But I put one in there, so.
So what's the purpose of increasing the height of the
exactly?
plug?
So
what's the purpose of it?
I'll show you here. So if you can see right now, if you guys can see without that little spacer, you see how that slug sits down
inside the cup. Yeah.
So when you go to crimp it, you're not going to get a correct crimp.
Oh.
So then I put a spacer in there. You might have to vary your spacers. Now you can see it sits flush.
So Jim, when you don't have a correct spacer, this is what happens.
So it's recessed too far.
Well,
I can actually rattle.
Well, show this one, Mike. I made this one up before. And this is using two spacers, and if you have too much,
right, I follow you.
You can see that the crimp is not.
You get the alien crimp.
Yeah.
You have an outie and not an innie.
Ray said they're called shot cards, which is the correct term for them. So, the ones that Travis has. So, Jim, you were talking about shot cup.
Right.
And there actually is a shot cup. But, so basically, picture this. If you take your wad and you lop the bottom off.
Right.
And you just literally have this, then that's a shot cup.
Okay.
But this whole thing is a wad. Because it has... The reason for the shock absorbers is because what happens when you pull that trigger, hits the primer.
You got a near explosion.
So basically, it lights your gunpowder. And then what happens is... So this is crimped. What happens is it lights the powder. The powder starts to move this whole thing forward. So this slams up against the crimp. And then it gets a second kick from the powder again, or the pressure again, as the pedals are opening, and away it goes. If you didn't have the shock absorbing on here, it really plays havoc with your shot cup. So that's why it has that shock absorbing with it.
Okay.
So as Paul Nelson said, they cushion the shot column, preventing shot deformation and extending the shot string. Okay. So what he means by deformation is it's lead. You can actually crush it.
Right, they're actually bashing into each other and deforming. They won't fly as true as a good round shot will.
Right. And the other thing is what he means by extending the shot string is instead of just having your shot about this long and this wide, it stays this long and this wide. So it helps keep the pattern.
Okay.
Well, before we sign off, do you guys want to actually load one round?
Nah, we'll save that for next week. Because we're going to go through that step by step.
Okay.
So.
Are you going to do it on the progressive or single stage? It's progressive.
We're going to do it on the single stage, and then we're going to do it on the progressive.
Okay.
Just to show you how nice the progressive is. So, as Paul said, the shot doesn't come out of the cup at the same time, which it doesn't. So, as your wad travels down the barrel,
it starts to decelerate, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it's creating friction as it's going down the barrel. Because this is just like in a rifle, where your bullet pushes out against the rifling and starts to generate friction. This is sliding along the barrel, creating friction. So it's getting that good seal to help the gas stay behind it. And then what happens as soon as it hits air, these start to fold back. So that's why when you see wads laying on the ground,
air brakes.
They look like that.
Air brakes.
So, Spudman wanted to know if they melt a little bit when fired. No. They don't, because they're made out of a type of plastic that actually handles the heat. Because that wouldn't be good if they started melting down the barrel. So.
Are they reusable?
No. Let me rephrase that. Theoretically, SHTF situation. Theoretically. So this is that one I just flattened out. It's a little wider than it was. You possibly could. However, the problem you're going to run into is that's not going to absorb shock anymore. So now it's pointless, because now you just destroyed your shot cup, and all your shot's going to be deformed, and it's going to come out the barrel and go all over the place, because it's not going to stay together. So yes, theoretically you could, but you're going to actually be better off just pouring the straight in.
A blunderbuss.
Yeah, you kind of blunderbuss it, but you'd be better off just putting a shot card in there than you would be trying to reuse a wad. So, all right, gang. Well, we're going to wrap it up for tonight, because, like I said, we're going to try and keep this to about an hour and a half per episode when we're doing all this, so that way the newbies don't get bored out of their flooping gourds when we're talking about important stuff. Just like everything else. So, you got to pay attention to what you're doing. You got to make sure you pay attention to the recipe. So, Paul Nelson did say one thing: you do need to clean your barrel out of plastic if you shoot a lot. Yes. So, obviously, as it's creating friction going down the barrel, it is leaving plastic behind. If you shoot league for trap, so you're shooting 2 rounds of 25 every week, you're definitely going to need to clean that barrel out. If you're somebody that goes trap shooting twice a year, probably not. So, and if you're really concerned, they do make cleaners to actually get the plastic out. However, take the barrel off the gun, because obviously if it's designed to eat plastic and you have a synthetic stock, it can cause problems. Not only that, some of your cleaners can actually cause problems to your wood stocks, so just be careful. Anyway, so that'll wrap it up for tonight. Get yourself chicken leg 2. We start at 7 p.m. Central. So, forgot where I was going. Paul Nelson was an addict. He used to shoot 500 rounds a week. So yeah, he'd probably have to clean the plastic out of his barrel at least monthly, if not weekly. So, just like anything else, just like leading and stuff, it can definitely leave a residue behind and affect how you're shooting. So, want to take time to thank everybody who tunes in weekly to the live show, everybody who downloads, everybody who talks about it in different places, everybody who's a member of the Reloading Podcast group on Facebook, on MeWe, everybody who's on the Discord, everybody who's a member of the Reloading Podcast page, everybody from the Reloading Room that joins us, and definitely want to take time to thank everybody who sends us emails, sends us text messages. Email is reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. Text message 608-467-0308. It is a Google Voice number. So I don't know about international, but theoretically you might be able to send. That's what I get for saying the G word. My phone went off. Anyway, I want to create a huge shout out to our Patreons who help make all of this possible. Help us get all the equipment and stuff to be able to do this. So, we didn't even talk about primers, so we'll have to get into that next week right away. So, just grateful for everybody that continues to help us do this. Grateful for everybody who gives us a shout out and a like on the live podcasts on YouTube and Facebook. So thank you for that. Travis, you got any shout outs?
Just to my buddy Hunt Shoot Off Road, go get those Brass Goblin shirts.
Yep. Sharenda?
I go teach a lady how to reload. She will like it.
No. Do you have any shout outs?
Do I? Yes. I need to send a huge shout out to Pheasants Forever. It took a bunch of ladies out shooting, and over half of them were first-time shotgun shooters and first-time hunters. So huge thank you to them, and huge thank you to John Francis, who's a wing shooter, who gave those ladies wonderful tips. So we now have some new junkies.
What about your organization, Wild Harness?
Wild Harness, we are the Bad Influence Gang. We're getting more women to get outdoors, and especially a lot of city folk, such as myself, that don't have opportunities to figure out how to do these activities or just try curious. So we're offering everything from hiking to hunting, basic firearm, even crafting. If you want to do crafting, we'll do that. We have coming up, which would be a first in our area, is a disabled woman's veteran hunt. I think these ladies will be their first time. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't ask the demographics or what their situation was. I think our founder knows those details, but we're trying to make this real special for them too. So we're trying to be like a virus.
You are pain in the neck, I mean.
Yep.
Awesome.
And we're trying to keep
Nice.
it free or cost effective because, as a first time shooter, you don't have $12,000 to go through an outfitter.
Nope.
Yeah.
but you may have license and tag money to go to public land.
Yep.
So that's what we're about. Wilderness.org.
There you go. That's a good shout out right there.
Yep, those ladies are wonderful.
Jim, you got any shout outs?
No, not especially.
Alrighty. Alright, gang. On that note, we seem to have lost Travis. So, keep your brass shiny.
Trenda.
I could teach a lady how to reload. She'll enjoy it, trust me.
And all I got to say is support the Second Amendment. It's our future. It's the future of your children and grandchildren.
Yep.